like I'm cupping a set of nuts. Three, two, one, and we're live. Left hooks are free. Right hooks are always half off. They've remained half off even though we've took some time off. Oh! Second episode since we've been back. How you feeling? Sunday?
I'm tired today.
Oof.
I went to the gym. I walked uphill on the treadmill, watching fights, watching all the fights. I got all the notes. I'm ready. I'm ready for UFC 271.
That's cool.
We'll
So, I'm trying to think of, like, do we have a legit start place today? I don't really have one. We've been going through a ton of Red Dead. We've been playing Red Dead. We're back on the Xbox, which is legit.
I haven't plugged the Xbox in since I left the red sands of the desert. Here we are.
We're thinking about starting a Left Hooks Are Free Twitch, but we need to know if it would be worth our time because it does require some more expenditure of monies for us to do that. Dude, I love that guy. Joe is my fucking guy. Like, before I go to work every day, I need Joe to give me his little, like, spiel. Joe on Red Dead is like the sketchy dude. Right, if you're in the 1800s and you have chest tats, you're doing big shit. Because I don't recall chest tats being prevalent in 1800s America. So,
not at all.
This dude's he's like, these are the type of people that'll have your back just to stab it. I'm like, I like this guy. Like,
he spits some facts though. He drops some bars.
He really does. He happens to be my favorite character on Red Dead. Like, if he tells me to do something, I just do it.
Big facts. We've been running the Red Dead. Think about getting the Twitch popping.
Yeah, I think if we can control Matthew's gratuitous use of inappropriate words, that we may be able to go public online.
That kid's got quite the potty mouth for a young twink.
You called him a twink?
I mean, that's a compliment, right?
I don't know.
I thought that's what he was going for.
Damn. The shit talk is already getting live.
Oh, I'm not even talking shit. I just thought I was speaking on the truth.
Damn. Joe Rogan is making huge waves, and I've been having his back. I am trying to start fannies for Joe. And I don't mean the fannies on your ass. I mean the fanny pack. Wear your fanny pack for Joe Rogan. Wear it.
I'm down for this movement.
This thing has changed my life. This thing is amazing.
Talk to him.
Like, I got this, I can put my water bottle in the front. It's got this little dangly thing sometimes. It's kind of, I think it adds a little bit of character. I keep my keys in there at all times. I haven't lost my keys since I started using this, which is pretty legit. My wallet, I'm struggling to keep my wallet in there, though. Like, it's hard for me not to put my wallet in my pocket.
Oh, I like it. I hate putting my
wallet in my pocket. I've been a pocket wallet kind of guy for a really long time.
Pocket
wallet kind of sounds kind of dirty, doesn't it?
Huh?
Does it sound dirty to you? Pocket wallet? Has a dirty vibe to it.
I don't think so, but it's getting there now that you're saying it.
Yeah. But fanny packs for Joe, fannies for Joe, hashtag fannies for Joe. Hashtag free Joe Rogan.
Free Joe Rogan
coming in the house.
On the misinformation.
Hold on.
You got some beeps happening?
Did you go
Big beepies?
Okay. You gonna be alright? Huh?
Big beeps.
Alright.
If I talk like this.
I'm recording. I love you.
We're recording, Michaela.
Oof. Gotta return this over here.
Yeah.
Boom. And we're back. DJI is following me. Let me know if it's weird that this follows me. the camera.
I'm jealous because I don't have anywhere to set mine.
She was apparently riding a snowboard in flat country and may have dislocated her shoulder. So this shows my commitment to this podcast that I'm not going with my wife to the ER. She's going with her friend. Bad husband Sundays and Saturdays are for the boys.
Hey man, priorities first.
So Joe Rogan.
On that.
Go ahead.
Before we get to Joe Rogan, 2 questions on that. What is flat country? That's my first question.
I don't know. I just called it flat country.
Okay. So just like
it's flat as hell here.
How are you snowboarding if it's flat?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Oh dang, you really got no info on this, huh? Proud of you. Well, then that kind of negates my second question. Let's move on.
Sounds
Joe Rogan, let's go.
Joey Rowe.
Joey.
So,
okay.
I'm a little disappointed, personally, that he apologized. But he really didn't apologize.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't feel like he apologized. I feel like he just attempted to clarify his opinion and his stance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, it seems to me like he just said, yeah, I've said the N-word, and I've used it in the appropriate context according to what I believe, but I recognize that I can't do that without getting in trouble. So I won't do it again, is basically what I heard.
And if I'm trying to be unbiased, because I am biased, because I do like Joe Rogan. But in my attempts to be unbiased, I feel like he should apologize. At first, I thought you were talking about for the misinformation, but now I realize what you're talking about. I almost forgot about this. But yeah, you definitely got to apologize for that. But I've actually listened to a lot of them episodes, and he doesn't really use it with an ill intent. You know what I mean? He's kind of saying like, this person said, or this person makes this weird sound with their mouth called, and we all get upset. And I was just kind of like, yeah, you can't say that as a pale boy. We're not supposed to say that. But I don't see it the same as like Donald Sterling and the Clippers and all that nonsense. We're not on the same tier.
Yeah. So to me, I tweeted something funny about this. I said, Joe Rogan is proof that you can't say the N-word even if it's in the car. Like, even if you're using it to either like follow along with something or to
even to reference like someone else using it, you still can't say it.
Right. So like Tom Segura did it in his midget joke routine. Said that the midget saying midget is like saying the N-word, but he definitely didn't say the N-word. He said
the N-word,
and he hard-ar'd it, and like he's definitely doing it for the shock value of the joke. Like it's all a part of what is going on, and like so. I talked about this. I posted on Facebook. That's what comedians do. Comedians are incredibly good at exposing your sensitivity, poking holes in it, and creating humor with it. That's what they do. So, like to expect out of 1,500 episodes of Joe Rogan's podcast, it not to include things that are offensive would be ridiculous. Like it's pretty much what he does. He is purposely making encounters with offensiveness to lighten them up.
I mean, have you watched any of the clips of him saying it?
Yeah, but like I haven't watched the episodes. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you haven't. You got the clip. You don't have the context, which is a big factor these days.
Right, because I'm sure, like, if you took my everyday life, you would find. I know for a fact that I would irritate people on a level that would appall them. Like, if I was to make my entire life public, the whole thing, like, I am not PC enough for media.
If we're being real, I don't think anyone is. Whether you want to say you are or not, look at yourself honestly. I'm sure you say something that offends somebody. To me, it's all about to the extent and also with that, the intent.
Right.
You know
like,
what I mean? You got to judge it off of those two factors for me.
well, I've tried to say that, like, I had a dispute at work over, I was arguing that Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool was less replaceable than Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. And I was told that I was being sexist. And I was like, but I don't mean it as in she's more replaceable because she's a woman. I mean it as in she's more replaceable because her character is not that great.
Character development, quality of the acting, the characteristics of the character itself are the big factors there.
Like, she's a supporting character, like it or not. Like, she has a big role, as in all of them do. I mean, Ant-Man is a supporting character, in my opinion. He has his own movie, but that doesn't mean that, like, he's pivotal, but he's not important enough to have him on screen all the time. That's why Captain America and Iron Man are typically the ones being shown all the time, because they're the most entertaining. They're the most developed characters for the most part.
Yeah, and like, you know what I'm saying, like Black Widow in comparison, like match her up with Hawkeye's Jeremy Renner. They're about two in the same. One's a man, one's a woman. Who cares? They have the same level of importance,
right,
in this grand scheme.
Right. And like, she's definitely like very important. I mean, she's actually a really cool character, and she's super hot. So, like,
but she is more replaceable than Deadpool with Ryan Reynolds.
Well, I just think Ryan Reynolds fits. Like, he's such a unique actor as far as the way he portrays comedy that it'd be really hard to throw in like Ryan Gosling or somebody else in there. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't fit the mold.
Yeah, that's kind of like saying like, oh, it's because she's a woman. It's like, no, because I just personally think Ryan Reynolds is a better actor.
Right, but they were arguing that how it's perceived is what makes it sexist. And I was like, no, it's intent that makes something sexist.
Yeah, perception and I believe the can same be clarified.
Thing with racism. Like, racism, like, for instance, like, I was thinking about it today because I'm thinking about doing a thing for Jacob. And if I was to talk about where I met Jacob, I would have to tell the story about how I went into the basketball courts on base and I saw him playing basketball. And I figured that he would give me a competitive game off of nothing but the stereotype that he's black. Which isn't necessarily racist to Jacob. It's racist to me.
How so?
Because the racism is like predicated based off of deeming something superior.
Yeah,
right?
I feel like that's... I'm going to interrupt you real quick, though. I feel like that's a big problem, too, that people look at it... I'm going to say, like, when I was in Louisiana, I ran into this a lot. It's like, just because we have this correlation with the history of our country and kind of like, you know what I mean, the system of oppression and then the terrible history of slavery and civil rights issues, that's fine. But anyone who deems their race superior than other is still racist, regardless of which direction it goes.
Right. So I think it's usually only offensive if it's received to be inferior, though. Right?
I see what you're saying, yeah.
So, like, I would be the recipient as the white guy in the scenario and believing that because he's black, he should be better than me, which in turn means that I should be worse than him. Which is weird, right? Like when you start breaking it down to like which way the meanness and the toxicity is actually flowing, it's actually flowing towards me.
I think more of the issue to me, I guess, in this moment is the fact that you had the idea, period.
But the idea makes sense.
Why?
Well, because I'm in Indiana, a state that's known for basketball, and I see a black band, which black people are more inclined culturally to play basketball than white people.
I know,
because
but
it is an open sport. Like, it's actually like, if you were to break down it statistically, you would be able to verify that it's not
would you?
an inaccurate stereotype.
Well, one, I wonder if that would even be true if we ran the numbers, but let me talk you through my thought here.
But you could.
It's still, to me, the issue is still you made that prejudgment off of that factor, right?
Right.
Because to me, when I walk in the gym, I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm not going to think that. First thing I'm going to look at is his build and his shoes. And then I'm going to decide if he can hoop.
So,
if I see Jacob, when I know the shoes he has, and I look at his build and I look at his shoes, I'm going to say, that dude can't hoop.
So, but when I walked in there, he was wearing Kobe's. I believe they were Kobe's. I don't know which ones they were, but regular ass Kobe's, and he's 5'8", and he's significantly bigger than me, as in like strength wise. And I watched him shoot, and he wasn't so bad that I didn't think that he wouldn't be able to make a layup, right? Because I'm worried about a guy that big bullying me around and getting to the hole. Like, he could still do that. So I like, visually speaking, right? So here's the thing too, is that you're still basing everything based off of your visual.
Yes, but not the color of his skin.
Right. But this color of your skin is an indicator of where you are culturally.
Not necessarily.
No, it's never necessarily. Just like it's never necessarily that a 7'1" guy can beat you at basketball.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Never necessarily.
So to me, it's like, to make that judgment has something to do with your cultural influence.
But to me making that judgment is me judging things based off the way I judge everything.
Yeah, which you don't think has been possibly. It's kind of like when you see little kids, you know what I mean? Like life hasn't given them these lessons. Life hasn't influenced them. They just kind of treat everyone the same. You know what I mean? Like real little kids.
Right. Because I think what the issue is when you prejudge somebody in that way is that when you boil them down to nothing but that. But like what I was saying is I have to start that story by saying that I judged him partially, at least, by the color of his skin.
Yeah, but I don't think you should have to worry about it because, one, I know where the story goes already.
But then I realized he absolutely sucked at basketball?
Yeah, like there's an air of, you know what I mean? It's adding the air. It's like part of the setup to the joke. You know what I mean? And that's where we have to like look at it as like the intent isn't negative. The intent isn't malicious. It's just, you know what I mean? It's kind of like anything. Like, what would the world be if we couldn't make jokes that somewhat bothered somebody?
Yeah. If it's still, I think, what I think is sad about that though is that I feel compelled to include that within the story.
Well, I think because...
Is that weird?
No, I think culturally it's like, it's a commonality. That's like you were saying earlier, that stereotype that because Jacob's black, you think he could hoop. That's part of like where we are as a society and a culture right now. So by you using that as the setup to the fact that he can't hoop as a joke, it makes sense.
Because if I had to break it down into everything that I saw, like I went in the gym, I was wearing my new shoes, right? I was trying to get some cardio in. I'm shooting on my side of the court and he's shooting on his side of the court, right? And I see 5'8", jacked black dude alone, middle of the day, shooting baskets. Right?
Yeah.
In the Midwest. That tells me that he's not. When I see someone alone in the gym, I see them not just entertaining themselves, right? Like, because we have video games, we have everything. Like, I see you there to actually legitimately be trying to get better or to be looking to make friends. Those are the only reasons you're there. Like,
yeah, I think this
it's
is just
uncommon
where
to play, right?
I feel this is just where life experiences are different because I'm used to seeing like the jacked, because Jacob's so jacked and like muscular, you know what I mean? When I see that dude shooting on the court, I just usually think of him as like a meathead, either doing like a warm up or just fudging around until he leaves. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. But then when I asked him if you wanted to play, like, I had gotten a good enough look at it to know that I needed to lower my own ability in order to make him want to play with me. To where I was like, I suck. Don't worry. Like, I'm not out here and I'm not going to be great. And then he's like, okay, like, we'll see. And then I trashed him. And it was like, you don't suck at all. So.
In fact, Jacob, no offense, Jacob, you low-key suck.
But I think I don't remember necessarily the point I was trying to get at, but I know that in my head what I'm trying to get at is that the directional flow of where you deem somebody superior, of who you deem superior, is a big aspect into whether somebody's actually being racist or not. Like, if I was like, Zach has more money than Jacob, based off of you being white, right? Then I'm being definitely racist towards Jacob, but am I being racist towards you?
Yes.
Yes, in that I'm labeling you superior, but not in a way that would offend you.
Yeah, it has no negative connotation.
Right. Now, I have experienced being white and being deemed as if I have more money in a negative way because I've been asked for money, singled out and asked for money in a group of people purely because I was the only white guy in an IHOP in Gallup, New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that made me mad because I was like, negatively, you think I can afford to feed you.
Or like,
out of all the people in here, you thought I would be your first stop, which offended me. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah.
Because it's like, you're trying to take my money first. Because you think I have it. Which is the only time I've ever been offended by somebody actually thinking I have money.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I normally don't take people thinking I got money offensively. So it's just, you know what I mean?
That's the only time. That was the only time. And it's probably because I was super tired and I was an IHOP that sucked.
Well, you're in an IHOP. Or was it a Denny's? That's the problem.
I don't remember.
Well, two problems. You're in IHOP and you're in New Mexico.
Yeah. But I do think that Joe Rogan, it matters if he's trying to actually demean anybody.
Yes. I agree. I agree with the intent and the context are the most important things. Now, I still don't agree that he did that. Like, I wouldn't have done that, but
right.
I don't think it's of the same severity.
That, and which brings up a weird thing, because like you and I are in agreement that saying the N-word is not appropriate.
Yeah. Like,
for us to say.
Facts.
But like, I can't necessarily put a bead on exactly why, like, I can't make that sound with my mouth in any instance. Like, I can't even just say it to the wind. Like, but it feels that dirty to say it.
Mm-hmm. And like, I've went down this road with myself over the years, just having like the internal back and forth of, well, can you, can't you, why can't you, like, what's the justification? And I've kind of just came to the position that it's like, it's not for me to determine, so it's outside of my hands. So people, you know what I mean? Sense. The world around me, the people around me, I respect how they want to proceed with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's very weird. It's a very weird thing.
It's like you try to understand it because I feel like to be a good person, like what do? We reach out to others' perspectives. That's how we become better people, right? And we try to understand why and the intricacies and the ins and outs of it. But some things I feel like you just got to step back and say, this one ain't for me to figure out.
Which is just so weird.
And just kind of respect the, respect the sentiment of what they're telling you.
It really is, but in the same light, I also didn't say little person, I said midget. Like,
yeah,
which is kind of me like being like, your opinion is less important than the entirety of black people.
Yeah, and that's what's weird about it, right? It's like, how do we weigh offensiveness?
But
who gets to be more offended by what?
But I also I think the reason why I feel that way is because I feel being super short is like, who the fuck cares? Like, you weren't actually marginalized to that degree. Like, yes, you are, but no, you weren't. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't feel like they've ever made the stairs too high. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but like, if you make fun of people that can't walk, that's different.
And I'm sure just like other things, there's things in history, like, like the Viking culture, they would, if you were a dwarf, they would, or a little person, they'd take you out of birth. You know what I mean? Things like that. I'm sure there's something of those type of aspects floating around there. It's just, but it doesn't feel the same, as like
maybe
what we got going on.
Maybe it's actually because it is a legitimate superiority in a way. Can I say that?
I don't see. That's the thing, is like I didn't fully agree with what you said, but I also don't know how I feel about what you said at the same time.
Like, so it's not a mental superiority, but it is a physical superiority.
But to that, it's probably like, I'm gonna poke holes. I'm poking holes now for the sake of poking holes.
For sure.
Well,
go ahead.
Why is it a superiority? It's not superiority if you want to get underneath the cabinet.
Facts.
So it's like that's probably not the word to use.
Like, a mouse can hide a lot more easily than I can. You're right.
Like,
it is very true.
Poot is much shorter than Bodie, and when I drop food on the ground, my man gets there first.
It's very true. So I don't know. We've had this discussion about the fantasy world in Harry Potter, how
yes,
like whether being a wizard was actually superior to being a muggle.
Yeah, because they're trying to parallel modern day racism in the storyline, and I get that, but it's like, yo, you can do magic, and I can't. That's kind of a big fucking deal.
And how fucked up is it that they made Mr. Filch, the guy who was born to a wizarding family but has no magical ability, kind of like grimy and ugly and like deformed?
They made him like all
make
these
him run weird,
physical embodiments of negative stereotypes.
Yeah, like, that's fucked up.
And they call him a squib?
Yeah. Shit like that, man. Shit like that's what gets me thinking on all these subjects. It's like, how often it is that like we stereotype people positively and negatively, and it just like goes away.
Well, I think it's good to think about these things, whether we're right or wrong. And in 20 years, we may reflect on this conversation, and
dude,
we're probably going to change our mind. You know what I mean?
You fucking suck. You know what I mean? Like, our grandkids are going to be like, y'all sucked.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's at least we're conscious enough to think about it. Conscientious. Conscientious. I'm trying to get my vocabulary together because I do say some wild stuff, and I definitely use some words inappropriately. And I also use some inappropriate words. So what's up?
Yeah, but you know who else used words inappropriately? Shakespeare.
Shout to Shakespeare. I'm just a modern day Shakespeare. That's what you just said.
Facts. Like, we glorify that dude for literally screwing up the English language in a way that made it sound nice, and then we act like saying things like that shit's lit is just fucking wrong. But like Shakespeare would be like, that shit is lit.
Shit be liteth.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we don't have the answers. And if you're coming here looking for the answers, you're fudging up on that.
Facts.
I don't know. Why do I say fudge instead of fuck? Like, you know I mean to say fuck, but I say fudge. It's like I'm in the 6th grade again. I'm trying to clean up my language, so that's why I'm doing it. But it's like, I should probably just not say either.
So this whole Joe Rogan thing kind of brought something up, because I was actually watching him with Jordan Peterson, and Jordan Peterson brought up that one of the things that makes Joe Rogan so magnetic is that he is incredibly honest with exploring the topics. And I was like, you know what?
Yes.
I'm going to be that honest with this. And hence why I was okay with saying things that would definitely, if you broke them up into clips, like would make me sound racist. And I actually probably am, like, per definition, racist in some fashion.
Well,
based on what I just said. But like, I don't hate people or dislike them.
But you probably have some cultural influential prejudices floating around, which I'm sure all people do. If you're an adult, life has done something to you. You know what I mean?
So more so than that, here we go.
Let's get it.
I think that I am better than some groups of people.
Yeah.
On a baseline.
We all do that, though, right?
Yeah, but how hard is that to admit? Like, that took some strength for me just to say that. Like, it makes me feel bad for saying that. Like, no, I know a lot of people that would. I don't think I'm better than anybody.
You're lying.
But
that guy's lying.
Like,
I bet he thinks he's a better person than fucking Hitler.
Or like the Nazis in general.
Like, if you want to get extreme, like, you think Genghis Khan was just as good as a person as you? He killed like 20-some millions of folks.
Facts. Weird. But like I said, it's really hard for me to admit that I think that I am better than people with an IQ less than 100. I think that I am actually superior mentally than they are.
Yeah, and I don't think you're
that doesn't mean
wrong,
that they're going
depending on what you're quantifying that with. You know what I mean? Like, if you're quantifying it with literally with IQ, then you are, by definition, superior to them.
Right, but then I would have to say that I think I'm better than people with Down syndrome.
Like I said, I think
is that not messed up though?
No, I mean that sounds fucked up. I'm not gonna lie, that sounds fucked up. But once again, intent in the context. Do you think you're a better person than them because they have Down syndrome? Because I feel like there's people with Down syndrome that are better people than us.
As a whole?
Just like overall, like generic term of like a good person.
No, if anything, I think I'm a worse person.
Exactly. But so it's like, that's what I mean, context matters. If you're saying, if you're basing it purely off your IQ score, then yeah, you're going to win that one most of the time.
Facts.
But you know what I mean? You gotta, it's kind of like we had that argument when we were in tech school with fucking Scotty Osborne. The variables. I need the parameters. What's the parameters of the conversation? What are we talking about?
Facts.
And I think that's what people need more of these days, just to kind of broad scale this whole topic, is be more aware of the parameters of the conversation. What was the intent? What was the context? Because I'm going to say it like this. I don't think Joe Rogan should have done that. He needs to apologize. I don't feel he needs to be canceled. I mean, Hillary Clinton, if we're going to compare, Hillary Clinton referred to people of color as deplorable, and no one seemed to really care too much about that. And that seems much more of a negative intent than Joe Rogan talking about how odd it is that a word like the N-word exists, or how this person said the N-word, or that person used the N-word. You know what I mean? I feel like there's a much different intent and context going on there.
Right.
And
Well,
we need to
Ben
have those
Shapiro,
conversations, I think, for progress down the line.
one of my coworkers was listening to Ben Shapiro talking about the Whoopi Goldberg situation, and he was saying, I don't think people should be
Caitlyn Jackson?
canceled. Yeah. He was like, I don't think people should be canceled over things like this, but I do think that people that advocate often for people to be canceled for things like this, when they get in trouble, they should be canceled. Basically, he was like, you're making the bed that you now have to sleep in.
Yeah, and that's a big thing and for me in life in general is I don't like contradiction and I don't like hypocrisy. Am I free of either of those? No, but it's the hypocrisy of saying I like this person so they can do it and I don't like this person so they need to be canceled. It's like, come on, dude.
So Joe
Do you
Rogan
really stand on that moral or not?
Stern, like very strong advocate for not canceling people.
I feel like you should let
The people
be canceled naturally. Like, don't force them. But if you want to talk about some like hate speech or be racist or like, you know what I mean? Something, because people always say like, you worry about like a white supremacist group having somewhere to spread their word. Well, if they're talking on an AM radio, or even if they have a Facebook page, who cares? Let me use this hypothetical. If they have a KKK fucking Facebook page, how about we just, as a culture, don't pay them no effing mind, and anyone who does be like, hey, fuck that guy. Let like natural cancellation take place.
Right, which is the libertarian mindset that like you let people talk with their feet, right? Like if Walmart comes out and says that we only serve whites, and then you're like, yeah,
fuck
as
Walmart.
a white guy, you're like, fuck that, I'm going to Target. Then like you've kind of
let
voted.
It run its own course.
Right. But
like I don't need Jack Dorsey to tell me who it's okay for me to listen to.
But I think we at one time encountered the issues with the people turning a blind eye for convenience.
Yeah, that's another part of the argument.
Right. That like some think so. Jordan Peterson said this about abortion. He said, I don't think everything wrong should be illegal. And that made me really, really think about what things I think that are wrong should still be allowed. And that's hard. That's a really, really hard question that I don't think a lot of people address. Is like,
that's a good idea.
I think abortion is inherently wrong. Like if someone was like, hey, I'm getting an abortion, I can't make it to work, I wouldn't be like, oh, sweet, congratulations. You know what I mean? But at the same time, if they're like, yeah, I can't come into work, I have to get an abortion, I'd be like, oh man, that's sad. Like, and if they're like, nah, like it's kind of the right thing for me, I'd be like, well, I mean, whatever helps you sleep at night. Like it's kind of that attitude I have towards it. Is that like, is it necessary for you in your life? Possibly. Not my problem. But I still don't think it's like, hey, let's have a celebration. Kind of like how people have divorce parties. It's like, no, you're like, your marriage failed. Like that sucks. Like nobody's like, yay. But at the same time, like if you got out of a terrible marriage, like I can be like, oh, that's good.
Yeah,
but nobody's happy about the divorce in and of itself.
No. Yeah, you got to kind of take it for what it is. Like maybe they're just happy that process is finally over. You know what I mean? Right. And it's like I see what you're saying, and I'm here for it because like personally, abortion doesn't bother me to an extent, and that's a conversation for another day, like where's the line and all that. But there's some people that say abortion should never happen, and it bothers them, and it doesn't bother me that it bothers them. Just like I don't think it should bother me if they want to or do it or not, because like I don't live that life, and I'm not taking care of that child for you. So you know what I mean? You have to live with your choices. So I don't feel like I need any say in how you make your choices.
Right. Makes sense.
But there's also things we all inherently agree on that are wrong. Like chomos and shit like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that one's hard, man. I don't know how people can even like remotely like justify it. Like somehow, some way, people are like, there's a difference between that person made a bad decision and that person isn't right.
Yeah, and like that goes down the mental illness pathway, you know what I mean, into another conversation. But at the root base of it, we all are kind of like, that dude's a child molester or a pedophile, and like, fuck that guy. You know what I mean?
Right. So like, if we were to do this with something else that like people don't treat that way, like crack usage, right?
Yeah, like drug addicts.
Like if you do crack once, I still think that you had the mental capacity to do crack.
Yeah.
Which in a way is how I feel about child molesters, that like it's still not good that you had the mental capacity at some point to be a child molester.
No.
Right? Not everyone crosses that bridge.
Most people don't even see that fucking bridge.
Facts. Right? That is where like the problem is, because I've met people that have experimented with like the big three: heroin, crack, and
methamphetamine.
Right?
That very wrong.
It's like, I don't have the mental ability to go down the road of doing one of those three drugs because I have morally deemed them off limits. Yeah. And I am incapable of understanding how you got there.
I get that. And to poke holes,
do I think that you're still a bad person?
I mean, if you've taken an opioid, you've essentially done heroin.
Facts.
It's not in its raw form.
Facts.
And it's just like this label we have, like this one's okay, this one's moral, this one's immoral.
But so a 30-year-old having sex with an 18-year-old is
sketchy.
Right? Sketch, but is that the equivalent of doing an opioid in the world of now having sex with a 14-year-old at 30?
Yeah, I feel like it's different in this sense. I see the point you're making, but like you do, if you smoke crack, you're hurting yourself. You know what I mean? You're bringing another life into the involvement here.
Facts. Right. So I agree with you. I'm just saying that the mental capacity on your own terms to go in that direction is still
a little baffling.
Not good. Not morally, not socially or morally appropriate to today's standards.
Yeah, and I'm with you on that.
Right. So like
morality is so wild itself.
I don't have the ability to like get behind a child molester because it's like crack.
I think I'm getting
like I won't do it.
To do it.
Like facts, but I don't feel the same way. Which is the weird part. I don't feel like people that have smoked crack should die and rot in jail forever or whatever happens. But I do feel that way about child molesters.
Yeah, and I feel like to switch gears about the whole your own personal morality thing is like, I don't fuck with people that snitch. I don't want to be your friend. I don't want to shake your hand. And some people have no problem, like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I was in a jam, so I told on that guy. And I'm like, fuck that.
See, I have a problem with what you're, like, the context of the snitching.
And I think that's a factor because if you're just a plain citizen and you're not involved with either this scenario or any type of like, we'll say like illegal street life activities, then it's not really snitching to me. Like if the old lady down the street seen you shoot Bobby on the corner and he don't know any of you and they just ask her what happened, that's not snitching. She's just a witness. You know what I mean?
Facts. But some people would consider that snitching.
And that's fine. I'm just giving you my definition. My definition is like me and my man Poot over here are slanging fucking packs, and Poot gets caught up and then tells on me like, now you snitching.
Facts. Yeah, that's not a go. See, my line is more about my snitching lines are more dependent on loyalty.
Yeah, that's
Like,
definitely a good factor to have.
like OSI, FBI, CSI, whatever the hell you are, if you have investigation in your name, listen here. Do not come ask me about illegal activities that my friends or family have done. I'm not going to tell you. Like, I'm sorry.
Plead the
Like,
fifth.
it goes against who I am as a person to snitch on my friends or family. To
And that's
give information. Like, I'm not going to give you any information outside of what I was doing. Right? If you're like, Taylor and Poot, have you known about them selling packs? I'd be like, I talked to Taylor and Poot.
Yeah, I know those guys.
And they're like, do you know if they sell crack? I'd be like, I know that they live in an apartment.
I mean, I've seen them, but I don't know them.
Right. Like, I'm not going to tell you. However,
to me, that's
comma, if you have sex with my wife and then you're selling packs with Poot and the cops come and then they're like, hey,
like, fuck
I
that
heard
guy.
Taylor and Poot were selling rocks. I'd be like, Taylor and Poot are definitely selling rocks. I seen them selling rocks. They were selling rocks on Tuesday, the day before he fucked my wife. And like, you crossed my loyalty line, and now I'm willing to snitch on you.
And I get that. Like, I don't agree with
but
it.
You,
but
I don't think you're not that
morality.
way. You're not that way. You'll be like, I don't know nobody.
But I'm not going
like,
I'm not going to judge
mine's
you for
vindictive. I'm vindictive about that. Like, I did that with Michael Higgins. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I've actually done that. Like, he slept with somebody that I was sleeping with and didn't tell me about it. And then I told his girlfriend at the appropriate time that he did that because he crossed my line of loyalty. So I crossed the loyalty line as well to let him know basically that I wasn't cool with it.
I mean, he showed you no loyalty, so you showed him none.
I could have slapped the shit out of him and that probably would have been better than snitching, right? In your book, if I just slapped the shit out of him for it. Right?
Yeah, I would have packed
and
him
I think
out. That's my style.
I've been metamorphosizing towards that a lot more in my older life, but at that point in time, it was like, no, I did exactly what he needed. I did him a favor. Like, he needed to know. Not only that, but he didn't need to be dating that girl anyway. Because let's be honest here, Michael Higgins, that girl was not attractive.
I don't even remember who the girl was. I'm gonna beep her name out because we don't need to. We don't need to drag her through the mud. She had to deal with him, so that's already bad enough.
Facts. All right, I'm willing to let that go.
But yeah, it's like, to me, everyone has their own personal set of morals, and I'm not gonna expect you to, or him or her to share mine. You know what I mean? I can only live mine, explain them if you ask, and I'm the one that has to live this little journey. Facts.
What else do we have on the list today?
All right.
We went an hour on morals. That was pretty hard, man. We did that shit.
I mean, that was a good conversation to have, though.
Facts.
Because I feel like we don't share the same perspectives, but I feel like we both have the good ability to articulate what we think and respond, and, you know what I mean, work off that. And I feel like that's what
I'm becoming more accepting of people viewing me as a bad person.
I don't even necessarily mean viewing you as a bad person. I just
but some people would. Some people would hear this, and some people are gonna be like, "You're a piece of shit" about your snitching stuff. Some people are gonna not agree with you on that, and then some people are gonna say that about me, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, he's racist. He just said he was." I'll be like, "Oh shit."
Yeah,
I feel like definition.
That's where we got to take personal accountability of how we judge others and how open-minded we are to other perspectives.
Facts.
And that, which I think conversations like these kick the can down that road. Like, we should probably all have more conversations like this, that we're not going to be right. We're not going to agree with each other. And we may not know if we're right or wrong ever, maybe years down the road, whatever it may be. But, it doesn't hurt to open up the line and have the talk. Somebody might learn something. All right.
What did you have?
Changing gears. I wanted to get your Super Bowl takes.
Dude, I'm just going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. If you would be absolutely 100% out of your fucking mind if you didn't think that it mattered that the LA Rams are playing in their home stadium. It matters.
Yeah.
If you don't think the LA Rams have an edge purely based off of where they are playing, you are severely wrong, because not only is it their home stadium, which they've played before, which is good, but also let's not forget that the people that can afford to go to the Super Bowl have money. And guess what area of the country has a lot of it? LA. So they're probably going to be rooting for LA.
Did you see the prices of those tickets?
Nope.
I didn't see a ticket below five fucking digits.
Jesus.
That's what I'm saying.
However, I love Matthew Stafford, but I also really like Joe Burrow.
Oh yeah, big facts.
I really
this is like you can't. No one really loses here unless you're an actual Rams or Bengals fan. But for like me, my team's not in it. I can't lose here. At one end, I'm going to see Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford get that ring that Matthew Stafford definitely deserves after all them years he put up with in Detroit. Or you're going to see Joey Burr out here fucking running shit with his first full season in the NFL. He could be the only quarterback to ever win the national title, go draft pick number 1, and get a Super Bowl. Ain't nobody ever done that.
Heisman, too.
And he got
He's had it all.
Who does that?
Dude's done it all.
Who does that?
Dude,
Cincinnati won 4 games last year. Like, it ain't like you gave him like a stacked team to deal with.
The dude has style.
Yeah, he's got
That's one of my favorite things, dude. I love that this guy. He's got it, man. He's smoking cigars. You know,
he's got the chain on. They say, "Hey, are the diamonds in that real?" He says, "I make way too much money for these to be fake." Like, he's just got that it factor.
I'm not gonna lie. I have a bro crush on Joe Burrow. Like, he is living the way I would live if I was in his position. Like, I think it's so cool.
Yeah, when we were that age, who would not want to live that life?
Oh my goodness.
When you're playing around the playground, this is like what you envisioned in your little fictional fantasy of playing football. He's doing it all.
Facts.
He's doing his style. And the thing, too, like, Rams definitely have a home field advantage. Like, no disagreement there. But at least Cincinnati has dipped their toes in the waters of having to go into a negative crowd and deal with that adversity. Because, you know, they did so at Arrowhead.
Joe Burrow cares.
No, that dude's got ice in his veins.
Like, he's a gamer, man. Let him run. Like, I like it.
Never lost his composure.
No. Like, if anything, he just like grits his teeth and says, "Let's do this shit." Like, he's got that fight in him. I like it.
It's just the Rams have so many weapons. So many weapons.
Facts. I think Joe Burrow is going to be on his back a lot. I think he's going to get Aaron Donald in his face all night, and I think the Rams are going to win this. But if Joe Burrow pulls this off, I'm not going to be like, "Oh, poor Matt Stafford." I'll be like, Joe Burrow did that shit.
Yeah, it's like no matter what happens, you're gonna be like, I'm gonna be up for somebody.
I'm putting a bet on the underdog for sure. Whoever the underdog ends up being, I'm putting a bet on it.
It's the Bengals.
Yeah, put a bet. Like, why not?
I'm doing the same.
It's gonna make it fun.
I'm gonna bet some props for sure.
It's gonna be too much fun.
Big facts. All right. Next topic of business. So, you know how Facebook's announced the metaverse, right? Zuckerberg's out here trying to make fucking Wall-E come to real life.
Okay.
Well, didn't take too long for us to have our first metaverse virtual gang rape. You heard that correct. Now,
what?
Yep. I don't even know how that happens because like I know they're talking about doing haptic suits, but at this point I don't think those are out. I mean, you could. This is the misinformation special, so I'm just going to say
What?
it. Yes, a woman said she was virtually gang raped in the company's metaverse. And because of that, Zuckerberg's Meta is adding a feature to combat virtual reality harassment.
I don't even know what like. This is like trying to explain apps to my grandfather. I don't even get it.
Yes. Apparently, harassment in general is a huge issue in the metaverse, which who would have ever thought that if you took shitty people on the internet and gave them no accountability and complete animosity, animosity is one of those moments where I can't fucking read. Who would have ever thought they'd be assholes and fucking be shitty to each other? I don't know what y'all even thought.
If you give me a place to be shitty towards people, I'm going to be shitty to them.
But apparently, this has also spooked investors, and their stock trading is way down, about 23% when this came out as of 2 days ago. And the reality division at Meta has already lost $10 billion in the last year, according to Reuters.
They'll make it back.
Oh, facts. But to me, it's just kind of like,
too big to die.
Who didn't see this coming? Not necessarily the gang rape, but who didn't see people going on the metaverse and acting like assholes?
I like how you had to clarify that. Who didn't see this coming?
Like, I don't think anybody thought you were going to get virtually gang raped. Like, how do you even do that? Like, don't you just turn that shit off? Excuse me.
That's some, like, Futurama shit. I don't know. Like Ready Player One? I don't know. How does it happen? I don't know.
I wish there was more, but like she doesn't seem to have a lot of testimony, which is probably smart on her behalf because save that shit for the courtroom.
Damn.
Yeah, somebody's been gang raped in the metaverse. Good job, Mark Zuckerberg.
Damn. I wonder what other places you could get gang raped.
Are you getting in the metaverse?
I don't even know what it is. I'm just trying to think of like other places that are potential gang rape like areas. You know how like you have to be careful
in
like,
real life or
no, not real life. In real life, I got those down. Like I know where to avoid getting gang raped. Like I ain't going to prison. You know what I mean? Like I'm getting gang raped if I go to prison, but like that one wasn't on my like radar. Partially because I don't really even know what the metaverse is, but secondly, I'm not on it. So, like, it's not on my radar. Is like, I gotta watch out for dicks. Like, you know what I mean?
If you don't join,
like, you know where you gotta watch out for dicks,
about
right?
Getting gang raped there, I guess.
Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I wonder what other potential places. Like, you gotta watch out for toxic masculinity dicks coming your way.
I feel like there's a lot of dicks on Reddit, but I feel like you have to go find them.
Yeah, but I don't think I can be, like, gang raped on Reddit.
No, that's the thing, too, is, like, I
have a choice still.
I don't like saying that. I don't know what getting gang raped in the metaverse entails. Because it's virtual reality.
Remember Omegle?
Yeah.
I feel like I was gang raped on Omegle.
Dicks fucking everywhere.
Or I was singularly raped multiple times. Because when you click next, sometimes it's dicks.
Exactly.
Which is like
a lot of times rape. It was fucking dicks.
It's like 90% dicks.
Or that random white guy that had that grenade in the AK. He had to be in Russia, right?
I don't know what he was doing.
I'm just like, he looks like he was 14 and he just had an AK. I'm like, you got a K? And he held up a grenade and smiled. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
I don't know.
So, metaverse. Are there police in the metaverse? Should there be police in the metaverse?
Should at least be whistles.
Gang rape whistles.
Psst. Sorry.
And like they said on here that they're going to create like a little boundary to where people have like you have to clear people to push into your personal space. Like it's just going to halt them. Like you can't walk up into their gameplay.
Who's around me?
But I still don't know what actually happened? Because what do? You just like walk up on? Is it like Halo when everyone like click the left stick and just like kneel on top of somebody? Like, is that
Teabagging
essentially
people?
what happened? Yeah, is that what happened to you?
And you just can't move. Like, no, get back in there.
They just like push you into a metal wall and say simulated gang rape over and over into the microphone. Like, what happened?
I feel bad for laughing at this, but like,
I feel bad
virtual
because
gang rape is not the same as physical gang rape.
I feel bad because it's
Yet.
like shitty that she
Yet.
wanted to be in the metaverse
Shit.
and people were like running up on her, acting like a fool, but no one actually touched you in real life.
Dude, I just had to say that.
Virtual
gang rape is not the same as physical gang rape. Yet.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, if there's
That's
a haptic
fucking
suit involved,
weird.
that's different. Because if
That's
I'm wearing a
weird.
haptic suit and someone starts beating the dog shit out of me and like, you know what I mean? That shit
Dude,
gonna hurt.
virtual assault may one day be real assault. And how would you feel then?
I don't know. Can I just turn it off?
It's gonna be weird when like we're the old man and you like on the VR videos now, the comedy VR. Do you see the old guy and he just starts like beating the shit out of the TV? Like, that's gonna be you in the simulated prison experience that they put you in the haptic suit.
I'm in simulated 60 days in. Yeah.
Cripple, what are you doing? I'm selling packs, young blood.
He's just over there on his shit.
Grandpa, you know that you didn't have to keister stash it for real. There's an option for that.
You know how long it took me to tuck that haptic suit up my asshole? That's just polyester. It's itchy.
What if they put people in virtual prison? Like, you didn't have to go to real jail. You went to a virtual jail.
Why? I don't even understand how you're going to keep me there. What if I just take it off?
What if they pod you, though? What if it's like a haptic pod? And
then I'm in real jail.
No. But you actually can socialize like fake jail.
Oh, so like I'm in solitary, but my only socialization is coming through the metaverse.
Yeah.
That would actually probably be better than straight up solitary. I'm not going to lie.
Well, because, like, do you get a respawn?
I don't know. Is it like the Matrix? What if I get,
if you get a respawn,
I get shanked out in the showers in the metaverse? Is someone going to come to my pod, turn my game off, and then shank me in my solitary cell?
I wonder
how much. Are we going to create a haptic suit that just starts ganking me right there on spot? I have so many questions.
I'm sure like you could make it like feel the same without it actually causing damage.
How many like
at least give you a little bit
getting their rocks off to that? Like how many like weirdos out there with like fucked up like violence fetishes? Like always want to be stabbed and just start creaming on themselves.
Yeah, but what if this is the way to solve that?
I just had a terrible idea and I don't think I want to say it, but I feel like you were going to say it for me, so go ahead.
Dude, Grand Theft Auto is that. We just don't have haptic suits.
I was going darker than that, but yes, I agree. I agree with that idea. That would be low-key tight. I think it's...
If you gave me haptic alternate reality pod that I can, like, matrix myself in and get respawns, I think you would therapeutically alleviate a lot of the issues. And like people, I'm sure there's psychologists that would say it would do the opposite. It would like desensitize people from real life violence.
I could see that.
But I don't know. I think those people you just put in jail in an AI jail.
What about the pedophiles?
That's a weird line. Because then, like, how do you create the content?
It's like they're not hurting anybody, but it still seems fucked up.
But then, like, you either have to create the NPC content, which is, or you actually have to have them interact with those same people, which is, So, you're right.
And then you gotta get Chris Hansen in there
I'm Chris Hansen.
to run up on them all.
Why don't you take a seat?
And is he gonna? And then this could spiral. He could become Matrix's Mr. Smith, Agent Smith. Really, Chris Anderson. He goes rogue. He's an algorithm. Now he's everywhere.
Why don't you take a seat over there? Go ahead, take a seat.
Come on in, take a seat. We'd like to ask you a few questions.
I love that.
I came here to see you, Chris Hansen. He's oh yeah, I call you Chris Hansen.
That's like my favorite South Park episode. One of my favorites is the Chris Hansen. Why don't you take a seat? They're just like, no, I'm not taking a seat, and they start backpedaling to the seat. Go ahead and take a seat.
I still like the Boondocks one.
Facts.
I call you Chris Hansen.
Facts.
We can do this the easy way or the hard way. The choice is yours.
Damn, we went down a rabbit hole there.
Yeah.
This podcast is going well.
We went down a metaverse hole.
We didn't go in it, though. We didn't go in it because Mark Zuckerberg has added a barrier for your personal safety. Thank you, Mark. Like a meta chastity belt?
Imagine.
Square?
I don't know if I want to do this. Never mind. Nope, not doing that. Not doing that. The coffee's gone. It's about to get a little weird.
You can censor yourself. That's fine.
Do I have to buy add-ons to my haptic suit?
Oh shit!
Like if I want to get meta pegged by some fucking dominatrix lady, do I have to now go to fucking Amazon and order a metaverse pegging kit that I strap on like a jock strap? And then if I want to get to the fucking super demon dragon dick, I gotta go fucking buy that too. Like the additional content's gonna get out of hand so fast.
Yeah, but if it's just like a little, like it just gives you a little pressure on your ass.
No. I'm talking about like you go to Amazon and then a fucking jackhammer on a jock strap shows up and here's your metaverse pegging unit. Just fucking dome. Because then
a man was
I can actually be meta gang raped for real. Like, what if someone mails that shit to my house?
The news report would be lit, though.
Which news report? The one in the metaverse, the one in real life?
Either. Where we at? You're the topic master today.
Next topic, Winter Olympics. Does anybody fucking care? I've heard nothing about the Winter Olympics.
I have actually been watching them. Believe it or not. So
what is happening?
I don't know about winter sports that much. Like, I'm still confused on the scoring. Right, so I've watched the ski jumping, which is pretty cool, and the scoring they compensate for wind, which I think is smart.
Wait. Backtrack. They compensate for wind on the ski jump?
Yeah, when they're jumping super far and they're like, shh. You know what I mean?
Oh, so is this like a 4-distance sport?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't even know that.
Which is pretty sweet. And
that makes sense.
Curling, I don't get. Curling is icy cornhole.
I fucking love curling. That's my favorite winter sport. When I was a kid growing up, my grandma watched the Olympics all day. I loved the curling. Get up there, slide in the pose, hit, stop, hit. It's fucking icy shuffleboard, and I fucking love nothing more than to go on vacation and get fucking schmammered at 7:30 in the morning and play fucking shuffleboard with some old folks.
I'm okay with that. I too think curling is a cool game. Notice I said game.
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
And then, the big one, man. I have a weird question at the end of this, but I've watched pairs figure skating, which, not gonna lie, is pretty crazy. Like, it reminded me of when I tuned back into baseball and I was like, oh shit, they throw way faster than I remember. Like, they're throwing nasty shit. Right? Except they were doing it with people. I was like, yo, he tossed her. Like, threw her.
He chucked that bitch.
Like, far.
Respectfully.
Like, I'm not even gonna lie. I was like, that's a long way to come down. That's like 6 feet to come down on butter knives.
On ice. Shit's hard.
So
like if you miss that, you're gonna bust your shit open.
But so this is, I have to be honest again. This is gonna be something for me. This is gonna be me being honest on the podcast.
Okay.
So I was watching and I was listening to the commentary and there was a man on the commentary and he sounded rather feminine. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I was fine with.
Okay.
I was like, this man is starting to sound rather homosexual. Right?
Okay. Okay, I'm with you.
And then they showed him. And he had like an Elvis Presley pompadour. His face looked like a tile floor. Like smooth, shiny and smooth. Like it'd been polished.
Like he got some work done.
And he was wearing like this black suit thing, and he had feathers on his arms. There was feathers.
He's peacocking, bro.
Feathers.
If I'm a peacock, you gotta let me fly.
And he didn't do this, and I wanted him to.
I wanted him to.
He didn't do this, but I was asking for it. And they had him on his pants. And he had like black and gold paisley shoes.
Yeah, that's kind of lit.
And he just looked really homosexual.
I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know much about figure skating other than it's very subjective, but sounds like exactly who I want commentating on figure skating.
Facts. Brilliant. Brilliant commentary. However, it popped into my mind that Poot wants his toy.
Jesus,
that is underneath
his toy. That freaked me the fuck out.
The bookcase. Because he's growling.
The only problem with his toys, he's going to squeak that bitch.
I realized this. I am supposed to not treat people differently based on their appearance. However, it seems like this man is trying to have me treat him differently based on his appearance. He's calling me to do something. I don't know what he wants from me.
Okay.
But he's telling me to do something.
My man is peacocking, clearly. He wants some attention for this fit, as he should. This fit sounds lit. It's everything I want to see in figure skating commentary. I already know, and I ain't never seen it. But my thing with that is, you don't have to just not comment on his aesthetics. Just comment on his aesthetics like you would anyone else's. If I see a white dude in a fucking mossy oak camo covered in chopped backy spit, I'll be like, clean yourself up, you sloppy fuck. That's not because he's white and I hate white people. It's just because you're a sloppy fuck. So just because my man is homosexual, allegedly, I can still comment on his fit and be like, that shit's dope.
I think he wants us to know.
No one wears feathers if they don't want you to say something about their outfit. I'll promise you that right now.
But he knows what I'm thinking. He's trying to validate what I'm thinking. He's putting
Is he trying
it on
to validate
display.
it, or is he just living his truth?
He's letting you know.
I think he's just living his truth, honestly.
But what is his truth?
His truth is he's a man with a great skin routine and a lit sense of fashion.
Because this is what I don't have training on. This is what I don't know what to do. Is when I see a man who is portraying everything homosexual besides actually committing the act of homosexual sex, how am I supposed to respond when that's what you're calling me to do?
You respond like you would any other time. Like, just because he's dressing loud and crazy doesn't mean he's gay or homosexual, but
No.
he's dressing loud and crazy and eccentric like that. I would address him as someone who's eccentric.
Let me give you an example. If I go to a strip club...
If he runs up to me and he's like,
Listen.
I want to suck that dick, I'll be like, no thank you, but I'm flattered.
If I go to a strip club and there is a woman who is wearing a stripper outfit and stripper shoes and glitter,
Mm-hmm.
my response that I am supposed to be giving her is that of money. Right? Am I supposed to tip her? Like, she wants me to tip her. She wants me to pay her to see what she is showing, right? My question is what is he wanting me to do?
I think he just wants you to acknowledge that fit is fucking lit.
Which I am doing now. So if this is what you wanted from me, I'm doing this.
I think you're overthinking this. I think
it was something I wanted to know. I wanted to know because if I wear my fanny pack, my North Face fanny pack, I'm begging you to ask me, what's inside this fanny pack?
If I'm wearing my fanny pack, I'm begging you not to run up on me because you're going to find out what's in that fanny pack.
But when I wear this, I want you to ask me, what you got in there, Chris? What you got in that fanny pack?
What you doing in my waters?
That's what I'm asking you. Like, if I'm wearing cowboy boots, right? If I'm looking like I'm wearing my Masio covered in tobacco spit, in a way, I'm letting you know I might be the guy you should go hunting with, or at least ask for a dip.
And if
I'm kind of letting you know.
If I see somebody wearing cowboy boots and they're not wrestling cattle, herding cattle up, or riding on a fucking horse, I'm assuming that they want me to ask, oh, are you a little self-conscious about your height? Because I ain't never met a motherfucker wearing cowboy boots unless they're a cowboy, except for short dudes or fat dudes. And I assume the fat dudes need it for the support of the ankle.
I've heard this about, so men have tried to say that if she's dressed like a slut, that she's trying to have you have sex with her. And that's how they've said that, right? That's wrong. That is a misguided... I don't agree with that, but people, there's some turds that think that. Right? She's trying to get someone to pay attention to her, right? Because what is expression? Expression is relaying to other. It is communication, right? You're communicating something, right?
There's a possibility that she just wants to feel good about herself.
Right, but that good is coming from the perception of others or the comfort. There's a possibility that if she's wearing shorty shorts, it's because she doesn't want to sweat today.
Yeah.
Right? And us two, as rational men, do not look at a woman wearing shorty shorts, painted on short shorts, Daisy Dukes, whatever you want to call them, as I need to grab her butt, right?
No.
But some men do that. Some men see that and they cannot help themselves and they believe truly that that is what she would like. Now, you and I both recognize that that's not it, but she is expressing something.
Men are
and
stupid,
you may not be the person she's expressing it to, right? Yeah. You may not be her ideal recipient of said message. And you need to recognize that.
Self-expression.
Or it could just be comfort.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not just because you see it. That's very arrogant of you to think that it's intended for you.
Right. But here's a pro tip to you guys out there. If you believe that she is communicating something with her attire, she probably is, and it's probably a good way to start a conversation without physical touch. You could say something like, "It's a hot one today, isn't it?" Or if you want to be funny, you'd be like, "I wish it was okay for men to wear shorts that short because those look comfy."
All right, hey, I got some short shorts right now, my guy.
Right?
Yeah, check these bitches out.
Let me see them. I'm going to let you know. I might grab your butt if I see you wear those in person.
Well,
because it looks like you're calling me to do so.
You won't do so in the metaverse because I won't let you in my personal barrier.
No, but that dude was on something. I don't know what he was trying to say, but he was saying it loud.
I think what he wanted is just to get... You don't wear something with feathered fucking arms unless you want a little attention. And there ain't nothing wrong with wanting some attention. Like, what? We're social creatures. It's part of our makeup, our evolution. I think he would be happy that we're talking about him because from the sounds of it, that fit is lit, and I might have to Google that shit. So shout out to that guy.
It's pretty serious.
I ain't
so
mad at him.
We're at an hour and a half.
Ooh-wee.
I think we should begin wrapping this up with the UFC stuff that you wanted to talk about. Let's get down to business, and also I have an announcement that I would like to make after you are done.
All right. I'm extremely in-depth on this, so I'm probably going to make another Left Hooks Are Free short video later on going into my in-depth picks on this, but I will give you the rundown right now. Bodie.
Hi, Bodie.
What the fuck's up, kid?
Hi, boy.
That's enough from you, Bodie. Thank you. I'll keep it short and I'll keep it short and simple. UFC 271 this weekend, February 12th. Israel Adesanya versus Robert Whittaker 2. I'm taking Robert Whittaker with an upset that people don't want to hear. Bobby Knuckles is going to be composed. He's going to manage the range with leg kicks. He's going to attack the body, and he's going to get a decision victory over the last style bender. Unpopular opinion. In the second to last fight, I'm calling a Kona main event. They're not calling it one, but I am. Tai Bam Bam Tuivasa versus Derek the Black Beast Lewis. I got Tai Tuivasa, who is also my underdog pick. If you're gambling that weekend, he's my underdog pick on the card to come through with a knockout.
Shoeys?
Check it out. It'll be a fun one.
You're taking 2 shoeys on the night? What's the over-under on shoeys?
Over-under on shoeys, don't take the under. I don't know what it is, but don't take it because somebody taking a shoey.
So I think Izzy's going to win a decision on that fight. I think Izzy by decision, and I think Derek Lewis by flat KO in the first that's my call. That's it.
I'm with that, and then I'm probably going to drop a video later this week. Stay tuned. Short video, probably 10-minute video, just giving my in-depth breakdown on these picks.
So, good for my announcement?
Good. Run it.
All right. So, the announcement is that I am going to begin taking videos of Jacob Lee Bondin, and his roles in making a short docufilm on the man himself.
Okay.
And there's a surprise at the end of this docufilm for you, Jacob Bondin. So when I am done with it, you will be happy. Now, the other side of this coin is that I am looking for white belts in the area that would like to learn jiu-jitsu. I am looking for people to train.
People with any prior experience or none at all?
Send me your DM, Crucifix Poppy on Instagram, You can email lefthooksarefree@gmail.com. Whatever it is, you can send me that, and we'll talk. That doesn't mean that you will do business with us, but I would like to talk to you, and I would like to figure out who you are and whether you can train with us. Because we have a very limited amount of people that can train. But I'm trying to scout people to become part of this squad that we're developing. Just letting you know. That's the announcement. I know it's a little bit convoluted of a message. It's a little bit out there.
So basically, let me get this straight. Going to start a docu-series of Jacob Bondon, a.k.a. the reincarnation of Bruce Lee in a thick black body, with a special surprise plot twist at the end that even he doesn't know about. And on top of that, you're putting the bat signal out for anyone in the Peru, Kokomo, Lafayette, Wabash, that area of Indiana.
I'll be honest with you, even if you know somebody within your area that would like to one day possibly move to focus their life on training jiu-jitsu, let me know.
Reach out to them at Crucifix Poppy on Instagram. lefthooksarefree@gmail.com. See what's good.
Nobody's going to message me, but you're going to wish you should have. You're going to wish you did. You're going to wish you did. You like to shoulda.
I'm here for it.
That's it. Nothing else?
Nothing else.
Left hooks are free. Right hooks are always half off.
Donate to my Cash App, Husky Messiah on Cash App. I'm doing cameos. You give me $1, I'll send you a personalized video. I take requests. You want to see my butthole? It's going to cost a lot more than that, but it never hurts to ask. What he said. As always, fuck you. Fuck your mother.